Neuroplasticity and manifestation this morning. Okay, so what is neuroplasticity? What are we talking about? It's your brain's ability to change and adapt. Okay, so you know when someone goes to war and they get their legs shot off, and then right they get artificial limbs, right, and then they run faster than they did before it happened, right, before they lost their limbs. Okay, stuff like that. That's neuroplasticity. So it's the ability of your brain to adapt, okay? Because new neurons are formed, and you can rewire your brain in a different way. So these things begin to happen when you start learning new processes, when you start committing to new things, when you start saying to yourself, well, okay, I'm not satisfied with this, but I want to learn, a new process. And when you learn new processes, good morning, Karen. Good morning, Jay. When you learn new processes, this begins to happen. Okay, think of it as the brain rewiring itself based upon what you do, experience, or learn. Okay, I'll give you an example. My mom started painting in her 80s. She was like in her early 80s, early to mid 80s, I think, and she started to paint. She never painted before. I never saw my mom paint anything. I didn't even know she was artistic. Here's the thing, she didn't know she was artistic, right? You know, and I always wanted to draw. I always wanted to, sketch and stuff. And I remember drawing Snoopy's in intermediate school, and it was horrible. Like I couldn't draw to save my soul. But my mom started learning in her 80s, and everybody went, "Whoa!" Like I have several paintings of hers hanging in my house. But what she did, right, was she rewired her brain. That's neuroplasticity. Okay, so neuroplasticity, yeah, it sounds real fancy. It just means when you learn a new activity, when you learn a new skill, your brain rewires. Okay, so what does that mean as a human being? That means that you have more potential than you think. That means that you can learn a process. Okay, but the reason why we don't learn processes, let's talk about that for a second. Why don't we? Why doesn't everybody do it? Because a lot of people think it's a waste of time. Why? Thoughts of lack, thoughts of limitation, okay? Because you were made to feel, okay, by whatever source, but you were made to feel less than, okay? Okay. It also spills into other things, okay? When you consider yourself less than, when somebody makes you feel less than, it's a feeling, okay? And then thoughts become things, right? So what happens when you take intention and you marry it with emotion, right? What happens when you take feeling and you marry it with an intention? Well, your intention could be, I'm not good enough. Your intention could be, I'm not talented. Your intention could be, I'm not artistic, or whatever it is, right? I'm not coordinated enough to be a good construction guy. I can't swing the hammer good. I can't nail. I can't do hammer and nail too good. I always screw up with the nails. I always bend the nails. That kind of thing, right? Okay. Just know that the subconscious learns in repetition, and you can learn anything. Neuroplasticity suggests that when we start to learn new activities, we start to rewire our brain, and then what? Well, we're human beings, for one thing. You're a human being. You're the highest intelligence on the planet. Okay? Many people don't see that. Many people don't understand that. And until you go down rabbit holes and do some research and do some study, you may never understand that. Okay? But whatever this is in here, you're not your body, you're not your name. Okay? You're this in here. If you want to call this a spirit, okay. If we call this a spirit, then I work with spirits every day. Not only do I work with spirits every day, I energize spirits every day. And when I energize spirits every day, guess what happens? They get better. They get better. Not only do they get better, their lives get better. Why? Because when you make this one better, everything out here is better, because everything out here reacts to everything in here. Okay, so when you learn a new process, it just takes repetition. But here's the key. the key is, or the bottom line is, you have to be interested. If you're not interested in it, you're going to lose momentum. Okay? Let's say it another way. You're going to give up. You're going to go, this is not for me. You're not going to be interested. Okay? You have to be interested in something to be good at it. It has to resonate with you. Okay? With this one. Okay? You have to be, there has to be some kind of desire. You have to be in alignment with whatever it is that you're interested in. Okay, so if you're forced to do something, I see a lot of this with my professional clients. Okay, so I serve professionals. This is my community service this morning. But I serve professionals. I call them high-powered professionals just because they have highly stressful jobs. They have huge responsibilities. Okay, my CEO, one of my CEO is responsible for tons of people. Okay, he has a big company. Okay, some of my clients are attorneys, doctors, firemen, first responders, that kind of thing. Over the years, I've had a lot of policemen, a lot of police officers, high stress jobs. Okay, if you're a police officer, you're a high-powered professional. Okay, because it takes that to operate. Okay, they deal with things that us in society probably don't see on a regular basis. But here's the thing, right? You have to be interested. Now, with a lot of my professionals, what happened was, right, they didn't get into their profession because they had a passion for it. They didn't get in their profession because they enjoyed it. They got into their profession because, oh yeah, well, this makes money. That makes money. If you want to do, make money, you got to do this. You got to be an attorney to make money. You got to be a doctor to make money. You got to be a businessman to make money. You got to be a stockbroker to make money. That kind of thing. Okay, I'm here to tell you, okay, that's not how you make money. That's one way of making money. Okay, but when you enjoy what you do, money comes to you. When you enjoy the way you're living, the way you're existing, money comes to you. Okay? And we see this with the kids. They do the stupidest things online or the silliest things online, what we consider, right? Because we're older. And we look at the kids and we go, wow, they're just doing that silly little thing, but they're making thousands and thousands of dollars a week. There's high school students that are very, very wealthy. Why? Because they're doing what they love and they're getting money for it. Okay? Now, back in the day, it was a little bit tougher. We didn't have technology. But I'm here to tell you, you only need to find out the what and the why. The how is God's job. The how is God's job. Okay, so if you're under the impression that, well, I'm going to go to college and I'm going to study, psychology so I can be a psychologist because psychologists make money. What happens when you go down the road and pretty soon you find out that this is a job, but I'm doing this job so that I can make money. I'm doing it for money. Now you're doing it for money. Do it for your soul. Do it for your heart. Okay, now if your heart is helping children, you want to be a pediatrician, there you go. Now you're living your passion. Okay, but don't do something for the sake of money. Don't make money your objective. Okay, don't make money your objective. Place your value, place your emphasis, place your focus. Okay, it's all focus. It's all subconscious focus. Place your focus on the things you love and people you love. And then find something to do that you love because you want to get up every morning. When I get up every morning, I can't wait to get to my laptop. I can't wait to get to my electronics. I can't wait to check on my accounts. I can't wait to, do all of the things that I'm doing. I can't wait to see my clients. I can't wait to see how far I can level them up today, and then tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next day, whatever, like that, okay? So when you make that your focus, when you make, what you enjoy your focus, money comes. Money comes. What happens when you work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard? Well, if you work without ceasing, yeah, you're going to get money. Okay? But here's the thing. Push, 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 push. At the vibrational level, you're keeping all your goodness out here. Okay? We always talk about this. Okay? Push, push, push forward. Forward momentum. Forward momentum. You have to take breaks. We take breaks when we sleep, right? Which is the only thing that saves you. It's the only thing that saves you. Because if you kept going without that vibrational break, what would happen? You keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Okay? Now, let's talk about people that make fast money. You know, people that aren't doing it for what they love, but they're just doing it to make quick money, fast money. Okay. I had an uncle. He called me one day. He goes, I want $500. Give me $500. I'm like, for what? He goes, well, this guy is gonna go to Vegas. He's gonna parlay our money. He's gonna make money, and we can make, you know, blah 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 profit, right? And I said no, because I don't believe in fast money. Never did, right? And he goes, oh, come on, it's just $500. I said no. Long story short, one day I go to his house like a few weeks later. I think it was about a month later. I went to his house, and he was mad and he was swearing and everything. I said, "What happened, Uncle?" He goes, "Well, you know, so and so went to Vegas with everybody's money, and then he got held up at gunpoint, and we're sending the boys out there to look for him." And I'm like, "Oh man, you see, okay." So yeah, don't worry about fast money. Don't worry about those things. Don't worry about stuff like that. You have to concern yourself with things you love and people you love. Okay? It's about love. When you're making money from love, I make money from love. I make money from love every day. And sometimes I don't even focus on the money. Sometimes my clients go, "Hey, you know, I owe you money." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Okay." I focus on the work. Okay? If you have money, okay. You know, if you don't have money, okay. If you don't have money, start loving. Start working from love. Work from purpose. You have to have purpose. Okay, so you men out there have to find your purpose. Focus on your purpose. Okay, don't focus on anything else. Focus on your purpose. Focus on creating that purpose and refining that purpose and working that purpose down to a fine art. Okay, to an art form. Focus on your purpose. Okay. You want a beautiful woman in your life? Focus on your purpose. You want to drive a beautiful car? Focus on your purpose. You want a beautiful house? Focus on your purpose. I walked into my dream house, right? I walked into my dream house. It took a couple months to manifest it, right? Walked into my dream house and I go, whoa. Like every once in a while I put it up on my stories. I don't put it up on my stories to flex. I put it up on my stories so people know it's possible. Because if I can, anybody can. Anybody can. Okay, I was sleeping on the sidewalk of Toyo Theater. There was this theater called Toyo Theater in Chinatown. I was sleeping on the sidewalk at 20 years old. I was a street person. There you go, Hawaiians. If you just dropped in on this chapter of my life and, you know, just know that I started on the street. I didn't start on the street. You know, I started in a good family, but then there was, at one point, I said, nah, you know what? And I did things and I screwed up a family situation and I'm like, I don't care. I slept on the street for 2 months. You think I was angry with God? You think I was angry with anybody? No, I wasn't angry at all. I was happy. I was on an adventure, right? I was enjoying myself. And guess what happened? Everything came back. Everything came back. Because you don't attract what you want. Although you can, right? You can if you put it into your subconscious, but you attract who you are because eventually that all comes back. And this is why I was telling you yesterday about marriage and people getting divorced, right? Because who they are eventually takes over. And they attract the same thing with the next girl and the same thing with the next guy and the same thing with the next partner. How does that work? Well, the bad habits you have with your first wife, guess what? You can try to change it, but if you don't use one of these, if you don't use one of these, if you don't do affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization, guess what's going to happen with the second wife? Eventually, you go back to your subconscious patterns, okay? Remember the tree, the subconscious tree, okay? The roots are your subconscious beliefs. Your paradigm is the trunk of the tree. Your fruits, okay, are your actions and habits that produce results. Now, if if your results that you're getting are not optimal, or let's say you're not happy with them, or let's say for whatever reason, not satisfied and like that, you can change it, but you got to start with the roots of the tree, okay? You got to start with the roots because you cannot just perform actions up here. Say, okay, I'm going to do different actions. You do different actions, but you haven't changed your beliefs. So what happens is eventually your actions cannot be consistent. You cannot keep faking it. You cannot keep trying to be something you're not because what you're not is down here in the roots. There you go. There you go, Hawaiians. Okay. And I say Hawaiians because wherever you are in the world right now watching me, you are an honorary Hawaiian when you're on this live. Okay. So we're live on 2 Facebook accounts right now simultaneously. We're live on Trovo in Europe. We're live on Twitch. We're live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. So wherever you are, while you're here, you are an honorary Hawaiian. Okay. All right, Hawaiians. So now, how do we avoid the second divorce, the third divorce? You gotta change. How do you change? You cannot just change and like temporary change. You gotta change the roots. If you don't change the roots, guess what? Everything else is temporary. Temporary. Okay. The honeymoon period can be good, right? Then after that, what happens? Well, then the same habits creep back. Okay. Drug addicts, same thing. Drug addicts, they don't change the roots. Okay. They don't change the roots. But what happens? Slowly, the bad habits come back. And what do they say? Oh, his demons got him. Her demons got her. It's not a demon. It's not a demon. It's your subconscious. Okay? Hello? It's your subconscious. Thank you. Thank you. It's your subconscious. Okay? Slowly the habits come back. Pretty soon you're doing the same thing. Okay? And all it takes is that first drink. All it takes is that first substance. All it takes for me, right? I quit smoking. I quit smoking at one point in my life, long time ago. Okay, I'll tell you this story. And then I met this girl, right? She was a hot girl. And she smoked cigarettes, right? For me, that was kind of like a deal breaker, but oh yeah, she was a hot girl, right? So I decided, like, I'm gonna light her cigarettes for her. Okay. And so at first I didn't inhale because I knew that if I did, I'd be right back smoking again. Okay. So yeah, started lighting her cigarettes for her. Pretty soon I took that hit, right? Inhaled, right? Pretty soon it was like, well, I'll just have one cigarette, right? Have one cigarette. Turned into a multi-year habit. Okay, because it went right back to where I was before I quit smoking the first time. So you can do these things temporarily. The second time I had to create permanent change. The second time, which has been, I don't know, 25 years, maybe more. The second time, I had to do it through my subconscious. Okay. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization, all aimed at the same thing, will change. I have teenagers that are very, very successful at this now. And they're very successful because their mind is more open than adults. Adults are fixated, they're fixed. Okay? Mostly they're stubborn because neuroplasticity happens in everyone, every human being. Okay? It happened in my mom in her 80s. Okay, so that learning to paint process worked out rather well. And my mom did she is doing very, very well at painting. She's 89 years old and she's an artist. And everybody went, what? Like, I remember when my mom retired, um, she actually went to the Apple store and took classes with all the kupuna, right? So for you guys overseas, kupuna is grandparents or elders, and so she went and she did the training for iPhones. As if she knew her iPhone better than me. I didn't take training on the iPhone. Okay, I learned it myself, right? As a result, I didn't learn as much as she did at the Apple store. Okay, but that's neuroplasticity. It's a new process, and this is how old folks, right, that are productive, old folks that are successful, old folks that you know have a good mindset or a positive mindset create neuroplasticity all the time. They rewire their brains with new processes. Okay, there's even brain games that you can play online. There's tons of creations right now, inventions right now, methods right now, where you can create this change in your brain to think differently. Okay, otherwise, what do we call it? We say you're stuck. Okay, are you stuck? Do you want to be unstuck? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. So one of my clients that I have, he asked me what the difference was between meditation and I made some notes because I thought, well, this is good for everybody, right? What is the difference between meditation and visualization? Okay, so meditation, uh, everybody thinks that meditation is not thinking. Okay, that's not true. Okay, it's not true. Meditation is being still. Meditation is a break in your vibrational activity. Okay, meditation is listening. Meditation is listening to God. Praying is speaking to God. You have to do both. If you're just spending your time asking, 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 praying, 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 intention, intention, right? Wishing, wishing, okay? Good luck because you're only receiving half of the goodness. God is real. God is very real, okay? But you don't have to talk to God all the time. You can listen. And when you listen, you will feel. Okay, you're not going to hear God. It's not going to be like the movies where, Noah. It's not going to be like that, okay? But you have to be still and know. Be still and feel the knowledge. Okay? So, what's the difference? Well, meditation, okay, is an increase in awareness. Okay? It's an increase in awareness. Because why? Because when you listen, you become aware. When you're speaking, or when you're praising, or when you're asking, it interferes with that expansion of awareness. Okay? Visualization is creating that image in your mind of your final result, your destination. Can you visualize what that looks like? So let's say tomorrow there's a genie in the bottle and the genie gives you that life you want. What does that life look like? Are you sitting on a patio overlooking the ocean? Can you feel the salty air? Can you breathe can you smell the beach? Whatever, right? What does that look like? A lot of people can't imagine. The big reason why people don't and can't imagine is because they've been told when they were very young that that wasn't the thing to do. I still get teased by people that knew me from when I was a kid, and they go, "Oh yeah, you always got carried away with your imagination." Well, you know what? When I put my name in a browser right now, okay, and I look at all my companies and I look at all the things I've done, and I look at all the Facebook pages with all the records of things that I've done over the years, it's exactly the same as what I was fantasizing about when I was 12. And when I look at these things, I go, oh, thoughts do become things. Dreams do come true. But people are afraid to live their dreams. Okay? They're afraid. Because to do that, they're going to have to do some childish things. You ever notice when you're a kid, things come easy? You remember when you were a kid, things came easy. Okay? Not because mom and dad bought you everything, because anything you thought about, right? Pretty soon, boom, there it was, right? How did that work? When you think back to childhood, yeah, things were so effortless. Then I grew up and life became hard. Why did life become hard? Because your paradigm shifted into difficulty. Your paradigm shifted into life is hard. This is hard work. I have to work hard. You don't have to work hard. I never work hard, ever. Never, ever worked hard. I worked long. There's a difference. Okay? Sticking to something and being consistent and being, focused on something is very, very different than working hard. Some people think they have to work hard. I have to work 3, 4 jobs. No, you don't. You may have to work at one job long, okay? You may have to work long at 2 jobs. You don't have to work hard at 2 jobs. You have to invest time and focus. Now, the people that don't focus, or the people who do not use applied focus, will probably end up working hard in life, and life will be hard for them. But when you learn to apply your focus, and when you understand that where focus goes, things intensify, okay, there's all kinds of slangs for that. But when you apply your focus to something, it grows. It intensifies. It gets bigger. Okay, it multiplies. It gets to be more and more and more. When you switch your focus, I know this better than anybody. I switch my focus so many times a week because I have a family of service companies and they require attention. So I go from one to this one to this one, back to this one to this one to this one. I spin a lot of plates, but I spin a lot of plates because I have ADHD and my brain needs a job. So, can you do the same thing? Of course. I was doing these things before the digital era. And now when I saw these digital platforms, I go, oh, this is easy now. Which is why I'm coming to you on 6 platforms this morning around the world, in different areas, in different platforms, for different demographics, different people. But you can do this. When I saw this and I saw the kids doing like 2 or 3 things, and they were making money at 2 or 3 things, I'm like, yeah, finally. So I could have looked at it like I manifested all of this because I was thinking about this when I was 12 years old. When I was 12 years old, I had goals. I didn't look at them like goals. I didn't say, okay, I have goals. I just said, I want to do this, I want to do that, and oh yeah, I want to try this, I want to try that. When I got older, my uncle got me interested in business. I hated business. I did not want to do business. I did not want to do business. And my uncle said, if you're just going to focus on being a talent, you're going to be like all the other talent out there. And I'm like, I don't want to do the business. I just want to sing. I just want to make people laugh. I just want to do that. He goes, nope, you got to do business. And he started my first company with me. It was called Imua Productions. It was a production company. We made radio and television commercials. We did voiceovers for radio and television commercials. We did jingles. We did that kind of thing. Okay, it was like a production house kind of thing. And we did those things. And slowly that changed into VMAC Consultants, what it is today at vmacconsultants.com. Okay, you can look up our family of service companies, go to voicemasterenterprises.com, they're all there. Links are all there, you can go check out all the companies, okay? Go look in the DCCA, they're all there, they're all real, they're real stuff, okay? If you look on Facebook, there's a record of all of our companies and everything we did under every company. Go look at it. I'm not flexing. I'm here to say you can do it. I'm here to say you can do this. Okay? But here's the thing. If you're relying on brick and mortar right now, good luck. Okay? Those things are collapsing to make way for the new world. The new world is online. Okay? We knew this back in 2010. We started moving all of our companies online. The last company to move online was 2020. We were forced to do that. So our singing school moved online in 2020. People think the singing school is the first company I had. No, it was a production company. Then the singing school. But I always taught. I was always teaching at home on the weekends. Always. I'm a teacher. That's just who I am. So now, what about you? What about your goals? What have you decided to do for you? Okay? There's a lot of people, I meet a lot of women, I go out with a lot of women that tell me, oh, it's all about my kids. They're single moms, right? And they wear it like a badge of honor. Oh, it's all about my kids, all about my kids. And my question is, what about you? Oh, well, when I get my kids out of the house, then it'll be about me. Then I'll think about me later. Well, guess what? If this one is running on empty, what are you giving to your kids? Fumes? What are you giving to your children? What are you passing to your children? If you're running on empty, if you're all stressed out, if you've got 2 or 3 jobs, and the focus is just your children, what are you doing for you? Okay. How do you fix it? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Because when you're running on empty, okay, this is empty. This is empty. Okay, this is empty. This represents empty. This represents closed. This represents operating in fear. This represents being driven by negativity. Okay, fear. What if? All the what ifs. Worry. Okay, what if? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if that? What if the stock market crashes? What if I lose my job? What if this? What if? What if? What if? All the what ifs are rooted in fear. How do you change that? Something good is just about to happen. Something good is just about, I know something good is just about to happen. Change your expectation. Because if you're focused on the what ifs and you have a habit of worrying, just know it's subconscious, and your subconscious will repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And then guess what? Then you have a habit of worrying. Worrying is a habit. Okay? No, habits are easily created. We're human beings. We can create a good habit like that. Easy. But we've been taught, okay? We've been told that good habits are hard to do. Good habits are hard. Oh, it's hard to go on a diet. It's hard to lose 10 pounds. It's hard to... No, it's not hard to lose 10 pounds. If you're 200 pounds and you want to be 175, all you have to do is keep writing. I am so happy and grateful. Here, let me get my pen for illustration purposes. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm 175 pounds. Thank you. That's it. Write it once in the morning. Okay? Before you go to bed, read it out loud. The next time you go in your icebox to look for food after about 2 weeks, if you do this for 2 weeks, you go in your icebox to look for food, your refrigerator. We used to call it icebox where I come from. You go in the refrigerator and you look for food, your subconscious is going to start telling you. Your subconscious is going to start telling you, oh, you don't really want to eat that, do you? Look for something healthy. And then you look for something else. And you'll make better choices. Okay? It's a choice. Your choice determines your results. So remember, on the tree, the subconscious tree, the fruits, the choices are up here, the fruits, the actions. Okay? Your actions are your choices and your habits. Okay? And you can do any habit, and you can make any choice you want. But if you want lasting choices that end up in lasting results that are going to continue every year, going to continue every day, whatever, consistent, okay? Then you have to change the roots down here, okay? You have to change the roots down here. That's right, Lida. Only in Hawaii we say icebox. I see you. Good morning. How you doing, sweetheart? So yeah, right? But you can't just fake it and, have it be consistent. It doesn't work like that. Why? Because your natural inclination will be going back to your subconscious programming. Your natural inclination. Okay? So you're over here going, okay, no cake no cake this week, no cake this week, no cake this week, right? But you didn't start here at the subconscious level. Okay? You're just kind of, okay, I'm not gonna do cake, not gonna do cake, not gonna do cake. And then that one day you go, okay, wait, maybe I just have like one taste. I'll just taste them. And then pretty soon it's like, oh, I think I'll have one more taste. It's like, one piece isn't gonna hurt, right? Okay, I'm gonna do that one piece. And pretty soon you're down the bakery, buying on cake. There you go. Okay. Thank you, Lida. Much love to you up there in California. Take care. So, yeah, you know, but I'm just saying that neuroplasticity is a thing, okay? When you are rewiring your brain with a new process, okay, you must also install a new program. So let's say you're painting. You have to have an understanding that this is what you do. I am so happy and grateful now that I am a great painter. And you want to put great, not good. Okay? Remember that humility, as far back as the Industrial Revolution, was taught to us with a negative connotation to it. And the negative part is less than. They made you feel less than. Okay? Oh, you got to be humble. You got to be humble. Got to be humble, right? Got to be less than. Got to be less than. No flexing, right? You can't be expressive. Nope, you got to be humble. Got to be humble. Okay, this is humble. Okay, the way it was taught to us. Okay, but humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. Think of others more. Think of giving more. Think of the good you can do more than the good you can do for yourself. If you're in a relationship, think of the other person more. Okay? Especially if you're a guy, you want to work magic in your life, make sure she's happy. Make sure you take care of her first. Make sure you're looking out for her first. Okay? Make sure she's happy. You have children, make sure they're happy first. Okay? Because when they're happy, you're going to be happy. When she's happy, you will be happy. Okay? When your coworkers are happy, you will create a happy work environment and you will be happy as well. What goes around comes around. Okay? And when you express goodness, it goes into your subconscious. Goodness in thought, word, and deed goes into your subconscious. Why? Because your subconscious is a culmination of all of your senses. Your sight, your hearing, your speaking. Okay? When you do something for someone, you give money to somebody. Okay? I know people online, I see them, I know who they are. Some of them I've known for years. Every time they do something good for somebody, they go, well, I did this for them. I did that for them. I'm like, really? Really? I mean, there's things I've done like that. Okay. But I don't do it every time I do something good for somebody. I don't do it all the time. I bought one of my students a very expensive student model guitar. It was a Taylor. It was $1,000. Okay, I didn't plaster it all over social media. I've given many guitars to many people because there was a time in my life when I didn't have anything. There was a time in my life when I wished someone would just come along and go, here you go, brand new guitar. So I got to do it. But you know what that did for me? That made me feel good. When I felt good, guess what happened? Good mood. Guess what happens to your vibration? It goes like that. Guess what happens when your vibration raises? Good comes. That's how it works. Okay? So you don't give because you want to be looked at like a saint. You give because it makes you feel good. Generosity is like one of my biggest turn-ons. Okay? One of them. Generosity. Be kind. Be kind to people. Give to people. Share with people. Okay? Share. Not because you want to be a saint or not because you want to be seen like a good person. No, because you want to feel good inside because that raises your vibration, that attracts more goodness. It brings more to you. Hey, Lida. So, we have a lot of people in the mainland that watch our lives. A lot of people in the mainland that see us, and they're what we call transplants. Okay, they live in the mainland. They would probably rather want to live here, but it's very expensive here in Hawaii. Just for you, those of you watching us right now on TikTok. Yeah, good morning to you guys on TikTok. Hi, Iris. Good morning. Leandro. Good morning. Maria. Good morning. Karen. Good morning, Karen. Another thing, right, is I see people going around and say, "I'm blessed," or yeah, they use the term blessed for material purposes. So I was blessed with this, I was blessed with that. Yeah, it is a blessing. It is a blessing, but don't get it twisted. Okay? Don't get it twisted. The word blessed is abhorrently misused. Everybody is blessed. If you're living right now, if you're watching me right now, if you have a heartbeat right now, you are blessed. There's no degree of blessings. Your blessings are solely the result of how you feel inside. Okay, remember the windshield wiper, right? Feel good, feel bad, feel good, feel bad, feel good. Sometimes it stalls in the middle, okay, right? But feel good, feel bad, feel good, feel bad, feel good, feel bad. Patricia, hey, aloha in Guam, aloha to Guam. You guys say icebox? Oh, right on. Yeah, that's just old school, I think. Yeah. Thank you for being here, Patricia. So, so when you give, okay, yes, you are blessing someone. When you receive, when you receive, right, you are being blessed. But guess what? You always receive and you always give. The question is, what are you giving? Okay? What kind of intentions are you giving? Good intentions, bad intentions. Remember windshield wiper? Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, right? We do that constantly because we're humans. And that's why when you go to church, they go, we are all sinners. Yeah, we're all sinners. We're all sinners, all of us. Okay? In the religious context, we are all sinners. In the spiritual context, we fluctuate between good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Okay, but in the religious context, they say Jesus knows your heart. God knows your heart. What are they talking about? Well, you know your beliefs down here, the subconscious beliefs? That's what God knows. Why? How does God know that? Because the subconscious works with the superconscious. Let's just put the superconscious above the actions. Okay? But the subconscious works with that. How does that happen? Well, they communicate. What's the superconscious? God, the universe, consciousness, all of that. Okay? And you have entities that take possession of that and they go, no, you can only be good if you follow us. You can only be good if you join us. It's us versus them. Right? There's that kind of thinking out there. You know, so my stepfather lived till his 90s. He was 93 when he died. God bless him. He was a great man. He was a great example of a man. He was a very honorable man. But he was a Buddhist. So, like, what does that say? Well, if you're a Christian, that says he's burning in hell right now. Oh, well, okay. But here's the thing about judgment, okay? And this is why I never judge women. I never judge women. I don't even judge. I judge men once in a while, cause yeah, cause they need to shape up once in a while, like I do. Okay, me too. Guilty. Okay, yeah. But I never judge women. Okay, women are emotional beings. Okay, judgment is their natural enemy. If you are judging a woman, okay, you are basically losing out on a lot in life if you're a man. Okay, so don't judge women. Okay, but you know what happens when you don't judge a woman? And you know what happens when a woman knows that you love her because you love women because you just love her because she's a woman because you appreciate her because you know that you know you shouldn't judge. The whole it's like heaven opens up for you. Women can be very very significant allies in your life. Okay, to me, yeah, just because men have logic brains, it doesn't mean men are smarter. Doesn't mean men are smarter. Women are portals to spiritual beings. They bring spiritual beings into reality. They are portals for spiritual beings. One day, maybe we'll talk about esoteric knowledge, and maybe I can show you some pictures. Maybe that might get me banned off TikTok, but yeah. Uh, maybe, maybe not. I'm still thinking about it. But yeah, study esoteric knowledge, the origins of things, the hidden knowledge, the things that people rather not present to you. Because there's the common knowledge that they give the common people, the everyday guy. Okay. If you want to study esoteric knowledge, it's there, but you got to go look for it. The origins of things, it's there, but you have to look for it. And when you get down to the very, very bottom of esoteric knowledge, guess what? There's one more layer after that. It keeps going into infinity. The rabbit hole does not end. Why is that? Because there's only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. There's not supposed to be an end if you're an infinite being. And you're an infinite being. Okay? This in here, energy, spirit, what do you call this? Whatever it is to you. Einstein said you can't extinguish energy. The body and spirit are separate. They're separate. There's a separation between the spirit and the physical body. And these things get old, right? The body gets old, this gets old, right? And then what? Then we leave it behind, we drop it behind, and we go. Where do we go? It's not heaven or hell, don't worry about that. Okay? You create your heaven while you're here. You create your hell while you're here. Guess what hell is? Hell is being tormented all the time over here. Hell is being tormented like this. When you get tormented here, you get sick. You ever see people get sick all the time? Watch their lives. Look at how much drama's in their lives. Look how much they get worn out in their lives because they go, 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 go. Okay? When a human being is like that, they're running from something. Everybody's running from something at some point in their life. Everybody has ran from something. Okay? But you have to understand, first of all, what it is. Get to what it is. What's really bothering you? If you don't know what's bothering you, ask your subconscious. Just say, what's really bothering me today? What's really bothering me about my life? What really bothered me in high school? What really bothered me in elementary school? Go back to the roots. I can remember being 4 years old. That's about as far back as I can remember. But what was it that made you run? I know what made me run from things. I know what made me gain a lot of weight when I was younger. And I know what made me turn around my life as well. Okay, I had to make major changes, Hawaiians, major changes in my life. Huge. Okay, but I had to change this first. First, I had to unlock the prison. Okay, so from here, right, from here, you have to unlock. What does that mean? Well, first you relax, 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 and then open. Okay, like this, relax, 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 and then open. You have to be open. If you're guarded, you're not open. If you're resistant, you're not open. If you're being stubborn, you're not open. Okay. Be open. There are certain things that even I question, right? And I go, I wonder if I should be open to this or not. Should I entertain this thought or not? But pretty soon, right, you have control over your thoughts. And pretty soon you can say, no, not going to be a part of that. Yes, I'm going to be open to this. Okay. The problem only happens when you say no most of the time, or when you're always playing defense. When you're always playing defense, eventually it's offensive. Think about it. You play defense to the point where it's offensive, right? Because people get irritated. Why? Because you're all defensive. Okay? It becomes offensive. Energy is in everything. Everything is in energy. Everything is of energy. This right here has a vibration. This mouse has a vibration. Okay? It looks like a solid object, but at a certain level it's vibrating. Okay? It's not actually solid. It has a vibration. Your hand, you can put this thing under a microscope, it'll see right through it. So is it solid? No. When you get down to the atomic level, to atoms, what's inside an atom? Energy. Scientists do not understand why energy is there or how it's there, how it got there. They just know it's there. So the rabbit hole keeps going. It's not so important what put us here. It's not so important how we came to be, because the how is God's job. How you get something in life, how you start thinking positive and things come to you, is God's job. That's God's job. God will do the how part. All you need to know is what and why. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? And if your why is to serve others, well, I want to be a baseball coach because I want to help the kids. I want to give the kids something constructive to do. Okay, now you're doing it for others. Okay? You're coaching because you probably enjoy it. You're coaching because you want to offer something to the kids. But it's for the kids. Okay, so you're helping others. Now God goes, "Oh, he wants to help the kids? Okay, I want to help the kids. So I'm gonna work through him to help the kids." And what does God do? He gives you the how. And pretty soon you get the job. Pretty soon you're coaching kids. Pretty soon you're winning games. Pretty soon the kids' parents are ecstatic. Wow, my kid's on a winning team. I love this coach. You see, that's an example of doing for others. And this is why a long, long time ago, I built a family of service companies instead of product companies. I had one product company. I have a company called Premium Products. We're not doing anything right now, but we did Junior's Jerky for a while. And it was okay. And then after COVID, it got difficult. But here's the thing, Hawaiians, you can do stuff. Okay, remember the recording studio scenario I gave you, right? So I don't have to build a studio. I can go to a studio and lease time and resell it for a profit. You can do stuff like that. I know people who have lunch trucks. They don't have a big kitchen, but they go down to the industrial kitchen and they rent the kitchen and then they stock up their food truck, and then they go make sales and they sell out every day. It's a lot of work, but it's something that these people love to do. There are some people that, I used to know this guy. His dream was a lunch truck because his idea of success was the ability to jump in his lunch truck and drive wherever, and just until he sells out, and just park, different place, until he's sold out. That was his dream. Now, I don't know I don't know if he actually materialized that dream or not. I don't see him anymore. But that was his dream. So everybody has a different dream. Everybody has a different idea of what success is for them. Like I always say, some people's idea of success is like being up in the mountains in a log cabin all by themselves and not being bothered by anybody else. And that's their dream. So everybody has a different dream. Okay? What are your dreams? Okay? Make a list. Make a list. I want to do this. I want to do that. 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 Now you have a list. Now prioritize your list. Which one is the most important to you? Okay, make that number one. What's the least important? Okay, make that, I don't know, number 6, 10, whatever, how long your list is. Put it at the bottom. And then you can have a target. Then you have a target. You have a goal. You have to have a goal. If you're living a random life, if you're living like life just waiting for something to happen so that you react to it, like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen today. When you get up like that, I don't get up like that. I get up and I say the Lord's Prayer. And then I start talking about how my day is going to be. Oh, I do this in the kitchen by myself. It looks crazy. Okay, because I'm there articulating to my subconscious what my day is going to be like. So I'm sitting at the table, right? I'm making my coffee, and I'm going, today I'm going to do this and that and that. And I'm speaking it out loud because the subconscious reacts, number 1, to visuals. Number 2, to sound. To your own voice is the highest one. It's the highest sound that your subconscious responds to is your own voice. Right now, my subconscious does not know if I'm talking to me or you. My subconscious doesn't judge. Subconscious mind does not judge. So the conscious mind, right? Your frontal lobe of your brain that processes all these thoughts all day long. You're thinking, okay? Girls, in your head, all day long, thinking, this, that, living in your head, okay? It's not bad to live in your head. It's not bad at all. That's how you manifest things, right? But if those thoughts are negative, here's your big fat butt, ladies. If your thoughts are negative, okay, or the what ifs, what if this happens, what if that happens, or you're worried, or you're plagued by worry, or any type of negativity, okay, if that's happening, guess what's going to manifest? Bad stuff, okay? So think the good thoughts. Something good is just about to happen. I can't wait to hear the good news that I have more money. I can't wait to hear from that job that I applied for because I know I'm going to get that job. I know I'm going to get that job, right? Count on the good stuff. Expect the good stuff. Expectation is good, okay? And have a high expectation of yourself. Today I'm gonna do some good today. I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be good. Okay, like that. Your life will change. Okay, you will become optimistic from pessimistic. It will start to change. It will start to change. And when it changes, right? And when you start writing your affirmations and do your meditation, vocalization, and visualization, now you've created a better life for yourself. Okay? Because the roots of the tree, your beliefs, right? They have changed. Now your paradigm changes, the way you see the world. Now your actions change based upon what you believe. Okay, the fruits of the tree are the actions. And now your actions have changed. Guess what? Results. Boom. Change. There you go. All right, so we want to say thank you to our international audience. Iris, thank you, Iris. Thank you, Jay, for moderating. Leandro, thank you. Ben Rogers, yes, sir. All right, thank you, Ben. Thank you guys, and we shall see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We do this every morning, every single day. Okay? It's 8:01 right now in Hawaii, and I gotta go. But we shall see you guys again tomorrow. Tune in, same time. Okay, 7 a.m. Hawaii time. Look at your watch, whatever time it is. Okay, it's 1 hour before this tomorrow.